Hey everyone, so welcome to Neuro Fundamentals. We're back again. Today we're going to be looking at full body relaxation. So we're going to be looking at three different areas, three different ways that you can use to kind of relax your body, chill out your nervous system a little bit. This is quite important to be able to do. So some of you are going to find, think this concept is a bit ridiculous, and actually it's something that you just feel totally comfortable with. Some of you are going to absolutely know that you just struggle to relax, but usually when people think about that, they're thinking about the psychological side of things. So they're thinking, I always need to be doing something. I always need to be, physically or mentally active. But actually relaxation goes a little bit deeper than that. And it's actually your brain's ability to stop using the things it doesn't need to be using. As I said, we're going to be talking through three different areas. So we're going to talk through the muscles in your body. So do you carry excess tension? Are your muscles always using more energy than they need to be using? We're also going to talk through breathing. So in terms of our breathing patterns, breathing is something that we can concentrate on, but most of the time we're doing it unconsciously. So for a lot of people, they feel like they breathe really well because when they pay attention, they breathe the way they think they should be breathing. That may be the case, but actually quite often it's not the case. And we're going to just have a look at one quite simple breathing exercise that we'll try and layer up that just helps us to get more into a relaxed state. So it's not necessarily about switching anything off. It's just getting the brain into a state where it feels like, oh, actually, things are good, things are comfortable. This is where I want to be. Finally, we're going to look at a couple of different relaxation exercises for the visual system. So the visual system takes up 50% of all of the neurons in your brain. When you get home from work at the end of the day and you just feel completely exhausted, for the majority of you, especially those of you who your careers don't revolve around super strenuous and active things, it's very likely that the reason you feel so tired is the thing that is stressed out, the thing that has been overused is your visual system. So we're going to just look at a couple of things that we can do to relax the visual system. This can be at the end of the day, or especially if you got a desk job, office job, you're in front of a computer, your eyes are under a lot of strain all the time. You could even do these at regular intervals. So let's get into it. As always, I'll actually start, I know I mentioned it second, but we'll start with the breathing to begin, just because when your brain is fueled nicely, it's more accepting of change. Sorry, completely. I've been losing words all day today. I think I'm starting to get a little bit unwell. I will try and stick it out for the rest of this session at least. So what we're going to begin with is just some long exhales. So all I'm going to ask you to do, you're going to take a normal breath in, and then I want you to breathe out for as long as you possibly can. Okay, so we're going to do a few of these. You can start straight away. A lot of you probably will have either had these in your programs or you've heard us talk about them before, but literally it's just regular breath in and then breathe out for as long as you possibly can. This can be through the mouth with pursed lips. It can be through the nose. Doesn't really matter at this point. The important thing is that your exhale is longer than your inhale. One of the reasons that this is really good for relaxing you, and just keep going a couple of reps here while I'm talking through this. One of the reasons this is good for relaxing you is as you are exhaling, there are signals to your brain to tell your heart to physically slow down. And the opposite is true for when you inhale. And your heart rate is basically the average of how much you're inhaling versus how much you're exhaling with that little reflexive neuron that is measuring what's going on either side. So when your exhales are longer than your inhales, that will serve to slow down your heart rate. Now, slowing down your heart rate doesn't actually relax you just on its own, but when your heart rate is slowed down, there is less fuel going to all of the muscles in the body. So the fuel is being delivered more slowly, and therefore the rest of the body says, all right, if we keep trying to use stuff at the same rate that we are using it, things aren't going to be good. We're going to run out of energy pretty quick. So it starts to just automatically slow things down, shut things down a little bit. So for the majority of people, actually, just that long exhale exercise of breathing out for longer than you're breathing in, doesn't even have to be hugely longer, but in this example, we're going to go for as long as you possibly can on the exhale. That is a really good technique for just starting to relax things straight away. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try and develop this long exhale into a bit of a full muscle relaxation as well. So to do that, we're going to want to try and get the diaphragm a little bit more engaged while we do these long exhales. So I said before, you breathe in through your nose. It doesn't really matter whether you're breathing out through your nose or out through your mouth. Well, now we're going to start breathing out through our mouth, doing these long exhales. So you're going to take your normal breath in, and then and you're going to really try and force the air out. Now, those of you who have done the diaphragm stretches before, you might note that this is a little bit similar to that. You're trying to really get a lot of air out quite fast, and that is basically the idea. So we're just going to do this a couple of times of okay. Now what you might be feeling is at the very start of that out breath, you might start to feel areas up in your shoulders, upper back, and your neck start to relax. That's just because once we get the diaphragm engaged in that out breath, it can take some of the tension away from these muscles. But what you might also be noticing, I apologize, my words are all over the place today. What you also might be noticing is as you're breathing out, as you breathe out further and further, now you seem to be going under a lot more tension in the abs. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kill the out breath before we get to that tension, and we're going to try and amp up the relaxation that we get in the middle of that breath. So I hope that made sense. We're going to exhale. Once you start feeling your abs are under tension, you're going to stop, but we want more relaxation while we do the exhale. So to do that, we're going to add a sound in at the same time. So you're going to do your regular breath in, and this time as you push the air out through your mouth, you're just going to do like a kind of sigh sound. So it'll be a okay, hope that didn't sound too weird, but you're just letting whatever vocalization comes out at the same time. This is just going to help the larynx and the vocal cords and everything else completely relax. So one more time, you're doing your normal breath in, and then just add a bit of vocalization to your out breath. So you might find that it's higher pitch than mine, lower pitch than mine. Doesn't really matter, okay? We're going to do one or two more of those, and then we're going to shelve the breathing for a little bit. At the very end, we're going to try and link all of these exercises together. So as I said, breathing, good for slowing the heart rate down, just causing all the muscles in the upper chest, especially to relax when we use the diaphragm. That's going to be the very first step in relaxing everything. So the next thing we're going to have a look at, this is going to be the body muscle tension, okay? So I don't know how much tension you normally feel like you're under, but I'm sure many of you will have got to a point in your day at some point where you're walking around and then you feel like, oh, what's going on? I'm super tight, super tense, and you can physically just turn it off and you're like, oh, why wasn't I just like this before? Your body, when you get under higher and higher stress levels, will start to accumulate tension. The reason for that is as your stress levels are going up, you want to be more braced and ready for any kind of action, attack, whatever it is. Once you're not in a stress position, though, you should be able to relax completely. What tends to happen is people build up this tension, though, as a remembered response. So if your stress levels are high all day, your body just remembers, well, I'm probably going to be, I know I'm not stressed right now, but probably in a minute, I'm going to be stressed again. So I'm just going to hold on to this tension. What we're going to have a look at now is just seeing, are there ways that we can improve our body's ability to release that tension? So the first little exercise that we're going to do is called a body scan. And the idea behind this is it's going to be impossible to release any tension anywhere in your body if you can't feel that that part of your body is under tension. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have a lot of tension in your shoulders, but when you close your eyes, if you cannot feel that you have tension in your shoulders, that's going to be a big problem. So we're going to start this with the most basic version of this exercise. It's a body scan. I'm just going to move back to a full body view just so I can kind of talk through what's going on. We can do this seated, but you could be standing at the same time. So I'm going to close my eyes. And the idea is I just want to put my attention to different parts of my body and see, can I actually feel what's going on there? And that's without moving anything. So I'm just going to rest my hands on my thighs, and I'm going to try and place my attention down to my feet and my ankles and just see, can I actually feel my feet with my eyes closed without having to move them? So I know if I move my ankles around, I can probably feel some stretch and some tension and some pulling. When that's not happening, can I feel it? How intense is it? Does it feel like it's under tension? Does it feel hypersensitive, like I'm really hyper aware of my feet? That's quite common for a lot of people. And for now, I just want to try and get some answers. So when I'm placing my attention down here, I can feel my right foot a little bit more than I can feel my left foot, but there doesn't appear to be anything crazy interesting going on. I can feel both feet. I know where they are. There is some sensation there. So I'll move up now to the next joint. So I'm going to go up to my knees and just ask the same question. So for me, my knees, cannot feel them anywhere near as much as I can feel my feet. Okay. I can tell where they are. I do have sensation there, but it's really nowhere near as strong. We're just going to keep doing this, going further up the body, just to see what kind of sensations that we can pick up. So again, in my hips are kind of interesting. I'm feeling like I actually genuinely can feel tension in my right hip. And I also know that I can't quite figure out how I'm going to release that at this point. Like, I know if I tried to just relax more, it doesn't feel like anything's going to happen. So again, we're not trying to physically relax anything now, but you just want to know, is there tension? Could I relax it if I wanted to? What's going on? Then we'll move up to your shoulders, and we'll do the same thing. So shoulders, actually, I feel like I can feel my shoulders pretty good. Pretty much on everything so far for me, right side's been much more intense than the left side. I can feel everything. I can tell where everything is, much more on the right side than the left. And don't worry too much right now if you can't feel anything. Like if you just feel, I felt my feet and nothing else, that's pretty normal. We're going to try and address that in the next little bit. So we'll just go down now to the elbows and see, yeah, can you feel your elbows? Can you feel what's going on there? And then down to the wrists. And then finally down to the hands. Now, hands, I would expect everybody is probably going to be able to feel something there. You're going to be able to feel some kind of sensation in your fingers at the very least. If you've got your hands on your thighs, you'll probably feel the touch sensation of touching your thighs. So that's the basic body scan. That's a really useful exercise for improving things like your proprioception, but also when it comes to relaxation, like I said, if you can't feel it, there's definitely no way you're going to be able to relax it. So what we're going to do now, I'd like you to choose whichever body part you felt like you could feel the least. Okay, so you want to find whichever ones you can feel the least. If you felt like this exercise makes no sense, you can't feel anything, then good news, we can start anywhere at all. But if you had, so for me, my knees definitely can barely feel anything. My elbows definitely can barely feel anything when I try to place my attention there, especially on the left side. So I'm going to deal with those joints. What we're going to do now is we're going to try and force some tension into those joints so that we become more aware of it. And then we're going to try and just turn it off straight away. Okay. So to give you a quick example, if I was feeling nothing in my hands, I would put maximum tension into my hand. And now even with my eyes closed, I can definitely feel stuff going on in my hand. And then once I'm sure I can feel it, I'm going to relax. I'm just going to turn it right off, just relax my hand. And I'm going to see As the muscle tension starts to disappear and get less and less, can I become more aware of what's going on in that area? So then to give you the example of my left knee, so I'm going to have just a feel of seeing how do I feel in my left knee. Any kind of tension, so I could bend the knee a little bit more. I could press my foot a little harder into the floor to get some activation in my quads. If you really can't figure out how to put tension in that joint, you can just start giving a bit of a rub or a bit of a tap with the other hand and see, can you actually feel what's going on there? And then once you stop, just relax. And then see, now can you actually place your attention a little bit better into your knee, or does it still feel like nothing? Okay, and then we'll go to another joint. So again, my elbow didn't feel so good, so I'm just gonna tense and see if I can put some pressure into my elbow. Again, if you're not sure how to do any kind of movement that would put tension there, give it a rub, give it a tap, give it a poke, whatever you need to do just around the joint. And then with your eyes closed, just all of a sudden you're going to stop and see, can you just hold your attention there for about 10 seconds? You're usually going to go for about a count to 10 afterwards. So we'll just do a couple more of these. I'm going to go to my left shoulder as well. So again, everything for me is on the left side. Don't worry, you could be jumping around either side. Maybe you can feel everything. I don't know. But just going to try the same thing. Tension in the shoulder. A bit of rub if you need. And then just relax. And then what you want to know is for the next 10 seconds after, especially, can you maintain your attention? Can you maintain your awareness in that area? All right. So in terms of relaxation for the muscles or the joints, we're going to leave it at that. But don't worry if you didn't feel anything happening there. We're going to join all these exercises together in a little bit, and that's hopefully where we're going to see that muscle relaxation. So the final little section that we wanted to talk through was vision. So in terms of vision, like I said, your visual system is always active, always working. Even when you're asleep, your eyes are moving. There's always visual information being processed, and therefore your visual system is one of the hardest to calm down and to relax. So we're just going to talk through a couple of different ways that we can relax the eye muscles and relax the visual system all at once. So the first little things that we're going to do are going to be for the muscles around the eyes. Okay, so these are called the extraocular muscles. They're the ones that help the eyes move left and right, up, down, together, further away. And to relax these, there are a couple of different things that we can do. So the first one is just to blink as fast as you possibly can. So you're just going to blink as much as you're able to go. Please try and ignore my dodgy little twitch that I have going on. So I had surgery a number of years ago on my face, and that's resulted in this kind of reflex. That's something that I've been trying for a very long time to figure out how to get relaxed. And yeah, it's improved quite significantly since the start, but actually it is something that I notice is my left side tends to have much more issues. Part of that is my visual system, my facial nerve, my trigeminal nerve, the nerve that deals with sensation on the left side of my face. All of that feels a huge amount of threat all the time. And so that part of my face is the most difficult part of my entire body to relax. And because of that, I feel that through the rest of my body. So it's something that I'm not even too bothered. Maybe I'll be able to fix, maybe not. But it's worth noting that actually that is when things like that happen, you may find that that is the reason why one part of your body always gets injured. One part of your body is just always more difficult to calm down and relax and things like that. So just a side note, but good to know. Second little thing that we can do for the muscles around the eyes is literally just give them a massage. So we're going to take your fingers you're going to place them around the edge of the eyeball, and then you're just going to poke your fingers in as far as is comfortable. Okay, so for some of you, that's not going to be that far at all, but this is just literally like you would massage, do like a physical hands-on massage with any of the muscles in your body. You're just going to do the same thing around the eyes. Okay, and again, if these feel really tender, a good chance that you're dealing with an above average level of eye strain for you that day. So this is something that you might want to do a little bit more regularly. Again, you're not trying to push it into pain. You're just trying to give it some light stimulation to cause it to relax. The final little thing you can do for your eye muscles is we can engage some of the eye reflexes. So for this is going to be called a vestibular ocular cancellation. And what you're going to do, you're going to hold your thumb right out in front of your nose. You're going to move your thumb to the left or to the right or up or down, and you're going to move your head the same direction at the same speed. Okay, and what's going to happen there is if you move your head the same direction and if you move your head the same speed, your eyes should stay still in your head rather than if you were to move a little too slow, your eyes are going to start to move and then your head's going to catch up. So I hope that makes sense, but you're going to turn head follows the thumb, and that means your eyes should be dead set in the middle of your skull the entire time. And you can try, as I said, you can do this all different directions. You're going straight up, straight diagonal. You can go in any weird directions. You can even go in a figure of 8 or random lines. The reason this is good for relaxing eye muscles is you have this vestibular ocular reflex, which is where your head turns and your eyes stay still, is one of the strongest reflexes in the body. So as soon as your head starts to turn, your eyes want to snap the other direction, okay? And all the muscles are going to get primed to fire to go that other direction. When you're doing this cancellation and you're trying to keep your eyes in the same place, your brain has to fire some really strong signals to tell those muscles to relax and not do the job they want to do. And so this one can be a little harder to get the hang of, but if you do get the hang of it, it is a much more effective exercise for relaxing those muscles just because it fights against all of those primitive reflexes. I appear to have frozen. There we go. Cool. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to want to relax in terms of the visual system is the lens of the eye and also kind of the whole occipital lobe. So the whole part of your brain that's building that visual picture. When that calms down a little bit, it helps the other systems in the brain calm down a little bit because they don't have so much visual information coming into them all the time. And the nice thing about this exercise is all you've got to do is close your eyes and just make it as dark as possible. Okay, so this is called palming, and it's just palms of your hands over your eyes. You're going to make it completely blacked out. So just pay attention to see, can you see any little bits of light coming in? And from there, you're just going to hold this for 1 to 2 minutes. We won't do it for that long here now, but as you're holding your eyes closed, what you want to know is, can you keep it completely dark, or is the occipital lobe in your back of your brain starting to panic and say, hey, hang on, there's supposed to be loads of visual information here. And when it starts to panic, what it will do is it will start to hallucinate little bits of color. So while you're experiencing that dark, you might start to see little green or purple blotches or dots or shards of light. For some people, if you do this for long enough, actually, you'll start to see really vivid visualizations. So when you start to think of places you've been before, actually, it becomes much more clear in your mind. That's just the occipital lobe saying, hey, we're supposed to be getting visual information here. This is kind of stressful when I'm not getting it for a long time. And so it starts to project what it thinks you should be having. We're not going to be holding it for that long. We're just doing it for, again, about a minute. And you just want to see, can you relax to a point where you get all of those colors to disappear? If not, again, this is something that you probably want to do for a little bit longer. So you want to be doing it more often throughout the day. So those are the visual exercises that we're going to use. And now what we're going to try and do to build a kind of full body relaxation exercise is we're going to try and combine all of these things together so that we are reducing your heart rate. We're telling your heart to slow down, so all the muscles are forced to relax a little bit. We're trying to put our attention as much into our body as possible, so we're seeing what we can feel, what we can't feel, and just see, can we consciously concentrate on the parts that we want to relax more. And finally, we're going to relax our visual system at the same time so that our brain isn't trying to process so much information all at once. And again, if we do all three of those things at the same time, it's much easier for the brain to decide which things it wants to be turning off, let's say. So which things it wants to calm down, which things it's not using when there's too much information coming in the same way when you've got a really busy day, you don't start nitpicking and making things more efficient. You just kind of take on new tasks and take on new responsibilities and keep rolling with them, even though that isn't necessarily a very sensible idea. So to do this exercise, you can do this sitting down, but I'm going to do it standing up just because we can do a lot more with the muscle tension. We are now going to combine our breathing exercise. So if you remember, we had the kind of long exhale with the long sigh. So that was the normal breath in, and then the exhale with okay, just whatever is the most natural vocalization for you. You don't need to go up in pitch, down in pitch, anything like that. As well as this, we had the body scan. So we're trying to just place our attention into our feet, into our knees, into our hips, into our shoulders, elbows, wrists. If you wanted to be more detailed about this, you can go, the entire way up your thigh, all the way up your belly, your back. This is just going to be the nice, easiest, quickest version. Just pick the joints on your limbs. Those are often good to be paying attention to. And then finally, we're going to take some of these visual exercises, visual calming exercises, and we're going to see if we can stick all those together. So the way we're going to do this exercise is we're going to start with our eyes closed. We're going to do an inhale. And as we inhale, you're going to start trying to place your attention down to your ankles, and then just see if you can feel ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists. That's going to be your inhale, okay? It's going to be quite quick, so I'm going to be about that long. You want to just try and feel everything in your body. If you're not able to feel anything specifically, remember you can put some tension in, relax, keep your attention there, and then start the inhale, okay? So you can do the attention first, then start to do the inhale. Once you get to the top of the inhale, you're going to hold your breath and tense all of your muscles as hard as you possibly can, okay? Once you have done that, you're then going to do your exhale with the sigh, and you're going to relax all of the muscles as much as you possibly can. And to do that, as you relax, you're going to drop yourself forward. So from a side view, that's nice soft knees. You're going to just throw your body forwards and just come to whatever position feels like you can hang out the easiest, okay? So it doesn't need, there's no specific technique of go vertebrae by vertebrae. There's no knees bent to 45 degrees, anything like that. You can have your legs wide, you can have them narrow, whatever feels the most comfortable to just drop into kind of whatever position you think. If I asked you to just hang out there for 10 minutes, the one you think you would most likely be able to manage, okay? And we're going to stick all those together. If that's all working, then we'll add in a couple more in the next round, okay? So let's just go through it with me. So it's attention to the ankles. You're going to breathe in. Once you get to the top of the breath, you're going to hold your breath, tense all your muscles Once you feel like you're as tense as you can go, you're going to breathe out and relax. And then just once you're there, close your eyes and just hang out in that position for a count of 10. Up to you how fast you make the count of 10. If you feel super weird and uncomfortable, if you're in a gym doing this and people are staring at you, you can count a little bit faster if you like. So we're going to do that again now. And to help the visual system with going from an extreme tension state to extreme relaxation, we're now also going to add in an eye exercise, okay? So for this one, you're going to do a pencil push-up. You're going to bring your thumb nice and close to your face, and you're going to hold your eyes looking at your thumb, and then from there it's the same. So you're going to place your attention to your feet while still looking at the thumb. Do the inhale, tense all of the muscles, including the thumb that you're staring at. Then you're going to close your eyes, exhale, and just hang out in that hopefully kind of relaxed position. Okay, we're going to do just one more round. So exactly the same thing. It's going to be pencil push-up all the way in, attention to your feet, breathe in, send the sensation, just feel your feet, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, hold your breath, tense the muscles, and relax. Okay, so once you've done that, it can be good to have like a little retest. So one thing that you might want to do is that long exhale just on its own and see with the vocalization, has it got a little bit clearer or is it kind of raspy? So when I do the breath in, I find actually my voice feels a little bit fuller, still a little bit shaky. So I could probably do that a few more times. The other one you can do is just try out that eye massage again. See, does anything feel a little bit less tender? And then finally, you can do your body scan. So just have a check and check through all the different joints and see, can you feel everything a little easier? And does anything feel any more relaxed than before? Okay. Hopefully the answer is going to be yes. I'm aware I don't feel like I'm speaking very well today. So also possibly none of this made any sense and I've actually just stressed you out a lot more. If that is the case, please do feel free to ask any questions that you have about this session. Just remember the three things are long exhales, slow your heart rate down. Pretty much anything that slows your heart rate down is likely to relax you. Make yourself more aware of your body with your eyes closed. So without using your vision, the more you can feel your body, the more you're going to notice when you're in tension, and you'll be able to just tell yourself to relax without having to do any specific exercises for it. And then finally, relaxing the visual system is going to be really important. So blocking out your vision, some eye massage, rapid blinking. If you can get the hang of it, those vestibular cancellations going to be really useful as well. Okay, so three things. I hope enough of it made sense. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.